Two questions. The order of the Eight Noble Path, right?
Yes.
Noble Eightfold Path. I mean, the sequence, right? Does it matter? Must one have the right view, then follow like this, or must we have something else before we go to the right view?
Okay. Now, there is a reason why number one is right view, because right view underlies all the other 7 limbs. Without right view, all the other 7 limbs, like right thought, right speech, and so on, they will not be right. They will not be part of the path. So right view is put first. Okay. Also most difficult to attain. In terms of practice, right view and right thought, they go together as wisdom aspect. In practice, we begin with 3, 4, 5. Right speech, right action, right livelihood. That's moral virtue, moral virtue training. Okay? And so moral virtue helps us to meditate well, which is the last part, the 6, 7, 8, right effort, right mindfulness, right concentration. So you have this moral virtue plus concentration plus meditation brings about wisdom. However, in reality, all the 8 limbs work together. It's like a 8-lane highway. See? They work together. It's not like you must master one after the other. Not like that. They work together. Okay, but of course you decide which you want to focus on. That's the difference. So when the Buddha teaches, he lists them in this way for our convenience. In practice, everything is practiced together. Okay? So that's the first answer. Yeah.
Okay, the second one, for the meditation, right? Let's say there are 2 monks. One monk is a really scholar monk, meaning he actually dwell a lot into the nikayas, and then practice a little bit of meditation, not a little bit, but quite a lot as well. But the other one is not really dwelling into nikayas a lot, but just maybe have a little bit of like a proper knowledge of Noble Eightfold Path, but at the same time he does lots of meditation. So which one progress more?
Hard to say, because progress is such that it depends. It's a personal thing. It's what's going on in the person's mind. You see, one way I can answer this question is that let's say there is this forest monk who doesn't know the nikayas well, doesn't know the suttas well, but he definitely know the essential teachings well. Okay, that is something that's always transmitted to them. They are given such teaching, but they won't be able to quote suttas like how we do here. They will still progress. However, they may have difficulty teaching in a sophisticated way like the scholars and so on. But when you listen to them, you will understand them. You notice the way Ajahn Chah speaks, very simple, lots of stories, right? And it gives you a very good idea, right? Then those monks who know suttas well and they meditate and then they attain different levels, even become awakened, like the Buddha, then they can teach well. Then they benefit. See, the Buddha is such a person who masters the various skills in teaching. So that's why the Buddha is very special. So we're talking about how well equipped are we, so to speak. Okay, so both will progress, but it's hard to say who will progress faster. Of course, if the conditions are, if you talk about conditions, the monk living in the forest with proper training, proper practice will definitely progress faster. The one living in the city, if doesn't practice, he will not progress so fast. Okay, but on the other hand, even if you are living in the city, but the life that you lead is that of a very quiet, peaceful person who is wise, who is in the world but not of the world, then you find that person also is possible to progress to, right? So this one is you can't measure exactly. Only you can make general replies. I hope that helps.
Okay, one last question.
Okay.
About meditation, right? because there's this focused awareness and this open awareness, is if I'm not wrong. So see, we as a layperson, we like to actually analyze things intellectually, and then wisdom is another thing. Wisdom is like you sit and then I don't know how we progress in wisdom. So back then, it's easy for the so-called for the renunciation to actually get wisdom so fast, so they become arahant so fast. For us, how I'm going to say is like it's either the way we meditate is something wrong that we cannot get the wisdom so fast. What's your comment? We meditate.
Okay.
Is something wrong that we didn't do it well enough that we get wisdom so slow? See,
Yes.
try to analyze it actually.
We're talking about right conditions here, the right conditions. No? So if we do not have the right conditions, it can be quite difficult, right? So that is why I also talk about mindfulness. People who are busy, you can still be mindful even though you have no time to meditate. You should constantly reflect on impermanence. When you regularly make a habit of reflecting on impermanence, even when you are living in the urban areas in the city, you will notice, okay, these are things, and you're better prepared to deal with them, right? Not every one of us who are living in the urban area, lay people, can go to the forest to become forest monks to meditate. But that's the ideal, in other words. So you have this like a pyramid, a very ideal state where you can live quietly in the forest, away from distraction. So these are the people who will know quickly, who are in the best position to know a lot of wonderful teachings, and the teaching filter down to the rest of the world. So for us who are busy living in the world, the Buddha also gave other teachings, right? For example, the Buddha said you should work hard, honestly. Whatever you do, make sure you do it properly, you do it honestly. Then whatever you earn, you're happy with it. There is the joy of using it because you have earned it, and then you're truly happy. Then the Buddha talks about the joy of debtlessness, to be free of debt, and you're happy. You can, you pay all your debts and so on. But most important of this is to be blameless, to know that you have done no wrong. See? All right. And then there's also one more teaching. The Buddha says, even as lay person, you should watch the rise and fall of things wherever you go, the beginning and ending, the impermanence of things. So there you are. The Buddha again is talking about observing, watching, reflecting on impermanence. So even as busy lay people living in urban areas, we can still practice by practicing reflection on impermanence, and when we do this, we will attain the path of stream winning in this life itself. So the Buddha actually guarantees us, says you will get this. If you do this regularly as a habit, reflect on impermanence, you will become stream winner in this life itself, if not definitely at the point of death. When the last moment comes, your mind will be at peace. Okay?
This is say during meditation, what we need to actually focus is to really watch our mind, is it? Instead of watching our breath,
Okay.
or watching
Yes. The breath.
The mind is doing, and see what this naughty monkey is doing, and how to tame it, and how to, eventually liberate it. Is it?
We start off by getting the right conditions, right environment. Okay. First, look around. Is my house peaceful enough? How can I make my home peaceful? External. Then internally, how can I make it peaceful? So breath meditation teaches you to focus so that you can let go of those distractions. So we're talking about habit here. So it's a matter of building up more and more of this habit. Then you are able to deal with distractions when they come. Then you find it's not so difficult, even when situations, problems arise. you know how to let go of it, how to distance yourself, right? So this is not just social distancing, this is a mental distancing, if you like. We distance ourselves from anything negative. But with wisdom, we can get into the situation and then solve it. So there are different ways of doing it. But at some time, we must build up this ability to be at peace with ourselves so that we can look at the situation calmly, like the way a doctor looks at a sick person. We don't get excited, we don't faint, we don't get terrified, but we calmly look and say, okay, what shall I do now? So the Buddha said, if you have tried your best and things don't work out, ask this question, what shall I do now? Okay. So we keep asking ourselves the right questions. So that's one way to improve yourself. Yes?
I've asked so much.
Sorry.
Okay?
Thank you, Brother
Okay.
Piya.
Yes.
Brother Jolie, hope you have your question answered. We will now move on to the next question from Sister Kimberly. She asked, what do we do when during meditation unwholesome thoughts keeps popping up very often?
Sometimes it is maybe the method, is not suitable enough for our personality. Then try switching to another method. Either if you're doing breath and you find you have all these thoughts coming, then switch to loving kindness. Okay? Or, as I said in the last week's discussion, we can choose one of those inspiring meditation, like reflect on the Buddha, the Dhamma, Sangha. Right? So this is where recall to mind some happy event that you have done and use that to inspire joy in you. And also a simple method, as I mentioned earlier, is the smiling method. Okay, smile at it, no thinking, no thought, just feeling. All right. When there's too much thought, then all these distractions will come. So the idea is start your meditation well, make sure the method is suitable, and most layman meditators, there is this limit, this duration we can go. So sometimes maybe we have gone over our limit, so don't force yourself. Stop when you need to stop. Then over time you improve the timing, you increase the time through right conditions, right? Another way is during the review period, you look back, you say, okay, I have these thoughts, examine why the thoughts arose, what were the conditions. Maybe some people, they read newspapers before meditation. When you read newspapers before meditation, you are likely to hear the news again when you meditate. So before meditating, tell yourself maybe like 15 minutes, half an hour, just calming, don't do anything that will distract you, no reading, okay? Suttas is okay, all right? In a sense, like you take a short passage, reflective, all right? So preparation, and then review what happened, find out the causes and conditions that led to the arising of those unwholesome thoughts. Then trying other methods, switching, know a few more methods, breath, loving kindness, reflection on impermanence, and then the five or six meditations, the inspiring meditation. You can email us, we'll send you the notes on how to look for this. Okay? Alright?
Thank you, Acharya Piya. The next question is from Sister Noelle Lim. She asked, what does it mean to have right and right? Or what would be wrong mind? Sorry,
just the last part.
She has three parts to her question.
Okay.
That was the first one.
First one again, please.
What does it mean to have right mindfulness and right concentration?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and she asked what could be wrong mindfulness and concentration, and what's the difference between mindfulness and concentration in this context?
Oh, okay. Okay, this is the last two parts of the limbs of the Eightfold Path. Samma Sati, technically, right mindfulness refers to the 4 focuses of mindfulness, right? Body-based meditation and so on. So, okay, let's put it simply. Mindfulness is being present, watching what's going on right before you. Seeing things as they really are. They rise and they fall. Okay. And feeling calm as a result of that. For example, you watch the breath coming in, going out. There's also one kind of rising, falling. You feel peaceful. Okay, this is an example of sati, mindfulness. Now, concentration is where the mind is free from the senses. You're already quite focused. The breath is very peaceful. You don't feel the body. You are feeling the sense of peace, even joy. Okay, so that is the 8th limb, the right concentration. There is wrong mindfulness. That means you direct your mind to thinking. For example, you can still be mindful, like how to rob a bank, you see, or even execute a terrible murder and get away with it. There is some kind of mindfulness, but it is wrong mindfulness. The miccha sati. And now, wrong concentration is a bit tricky, because it is still concentration, but it doesn't last long, and it doesn't really free you from bad habits and suffering, right? For example, sometimes people may meditate. Lots of people meditate. Not just Buddhists, but other people, they meditate on other things, not on impermanence. Maybe they meditate on the idea of God, some idea of eternity, or they misunderstand what they are experiencing. They think that this joy, this profound peace they experience is this God, all right, something permanent, you see. That is wrong concentration. If you look at this first sutta in the Digha Nikaya, Brahmajala Sutta, you find there's a long descriptions of all these wrong concentrations, all right? So that's why there is right concentration. So I hope that answers the question.
Thank you, Acharya Piya. The next question, should we ask, Brother Zach has raised his hand. Brother Zach, you want to ask a question? Brother Zach. Okay. Please go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just trying to unmute my microphone.
Okay. Yes, please go ahead. Yeah.
Can't see brother.
Well, I can see you. Okay.
Well, I can see me twice. So this is a follow-up question to the last one on sama samadhi, and it's tied to you mentioning the Buddha remembering childhood experience of first jhana. And the last person asked what is wrong concentration. And in the story of the Buddha, the Bodhisattva, he's becoming, he followed these 2 teachers.
Yes.
And the words he uses to describe those experiences sound like the formless around some people say 7th and 8th jhana, but not necessarily jhanas. But what was the difference between those experiences of jhana, which may be wrong, so to speak, miccha, and then the first jhana he remembers as a child, and then the jhanas he talks about in the scriptures? The same words are used.
Yes. Okay. Right.
People make that assumption. So what's the difference? This is kind of a burning question.
Yeah, okay. Right, thank you. Okay. Yeah, this is a very beautiful question about the deeper aspects of the story of the Buddha. The Buddha went to 2 teachers. He went to Alara Kalama and Uddaka Ramaputta. Actually, in the case of Uddaka Ramaputta, he learned the father's method, not Uddaka. Uddaka himself did not attain the level of his father. Now, there is no specific mention that those formless attainments were wrong. I think the Arya Pariyasana Sutta, which contains this story, among other suttas, simply says that or rather the impression we get from why the Bodhisattva left the two teachers is because they did not go beyond that. He went as far as the base of neither perception nor non-perception. That's the highest that meditators in the Buddha's time could reach. This is really interesting. They're able to meditate, they're able to reach that level, but they cannot break through. Reason? They believe in something external, an external essence, the Brahman, the soul. So because of that, they cannot break through. They believe that this consciousness there is this essence behind this consciousness. There is something, thisness or thusness or thatness. They like to say that is it, tat tomasi, you see. Tat means that, you see. Thatness. There's something essential, something kind of like something hidden behind reality. And because they believe in this, they are stuck with that. They think, wow, this level of neither perception nor non-perception is so subtle. This is Godhead. This is the God experience. So they're stuck there. And but then the Bodhisattva gave up. He didn't go further because he did not think about this particular problem until later on, you see. Then he realized, oh, there is this first jhana where there is this pleasure which we should not fear. This is something which actually helps us to focus our minds, and we're able to think better. So what the Buddha has discovered here, as I have written in the Buddha discovered dhyana, is he did dhyana with right view. Whereas with those two teachers, they did jhana with wrong views. So that's the problem, is it? So what does it mean to do jhana, to do deep meditation with right view? It means to know that all these are mind-made, they are impermanent, and to see the calmness, the joy and the calmness, feel it. Then when you come out of it, use it. It is instrumental. It is not the answer. I suppose in the case of those two teachers, they see the meditation as the answer in itself. That's the goal. But to the Buddha, that's not the goal. That's the path. That is still the steps of the ladder. You've got to go up some more, is it? You've got to let go of that step and then raise your foot to the next step and so on. So he uses this calmness to reflect on anicca, dukkha, anatta, the three characteristics. There is this impermanence pervasive in everything, and because there is impermanence, there is this unsatisfactoriness, this suffering, and both of this shows there is non-self. There's nothing, no essence underlying all this. In other words, he no more holds any views. The view is what is blocking his awakening. Once is able to free his mind of views, then you have really this clear, free, totally liberated mind. This is jhana with right view. I hope this is clear enough, okay? Okay, let's go on.
Thank you, Acharya. We would like to call Sister Huilin to ask a question. You have a question, Sister Huilin?
Yes, Sister Huilin from KL, yes.
Hi, yes, I'm looking at your page 31, the 3 phrases and 12 aspects.
Yes.
There the Buddha said that he realized the noble truth, and then he said, there arose in me vision, the I. There arose knowledge, arose wisdom, insight, and then lastly arose light. Can you let me know what is this vision, knowledge, wisdom, insight, and light that he is talking about?
Okay, so you're referring to paragraph 31, is it?
21, page 31.
No, what the paragraph number is that?
Paragraph number
10, 11,
6.
Okay, in fact, there are lots of paragraphs there, 6 onwards, okay? Okay, now if you...
Was particularly 9. Under
Oh, yes, 9, yeah. Now, usually, if you look at the last word, that's the key word, usually, not always. So you find light here is mentioned, but light here is just metaphorically. You see, for example, we say, oh yes, I see the light, I understand. So you go work backwards, insight. Okay, that's what it means. The light here refers to insight. And then you look back again, what word do you see? Wisdom, right? Right, so light, insight, wisdom mean the same thing. Then you go one more word before that, knowledge, okay? Again, you have this thesaurus. This is the beginning of the thesaurus. In fact, the Buddhist compiler thesaurus, in the 10th century, which is the oldest dictionary in the world, actually. And then before that, what else? The vision, okay? Or the eye. Yeah. So these are all synonyms, meaning wisdom. We can say wisdom, vision, understanding, So, as I said, this is an oral tradition method, giving this list of synonyms so that when people sometimes someone will be talking to you and then you miss what the teacher says. So you have this string of words, you catch one and you know the rest. So this is an oral convention of repeating what I call synonyms, but not always. Sometimes the phrase can build up meanings, but in this case it is a set of synonyms referring to knowledge, understanding of a spiritual nature. Okay.
Brother Piya.
Yes.
It's the arose of light that gets me a bit stunned. I'm worried about nimitta,
Oh, okay.
So I thought, what? Arose of light? Is that what the Buddha meant?
Here, take light metaphorically to mean understanding. Of course, you can have some kind of brightness arising. For example, we say someone who's clever, we say he's bright. Someone who's intelligent, we say he's bright. So it's metaphorical here. Of course, when you attain jhana, there is this metta of brightness also. But here it refers to understanding, especially liberating understanding, the understanding that frees us from suffering, because we understand the nature of suffering, of impermanence. All right? Okay, let's go on then.
Thank you.
Sure.
Okay, thank you, Sister Huilin. The next question we have from Brother Ong Guan Leong. He asks, could you elaborate on it? About the heap of snares. Please expand on its significance.
Okay. So, no, there was a bit of garble on the. I don't know what's wrong with the sound today. It's okay. So I need to elaborate on the pile of snares, is it?
Yes.
Okay. Now, so this pile of snares, Pahasarasi, is the name of the embedded sutta found in the Arya Pariyesana Sutta. All these suttas have been translated. You can locate in volume 1 of the Sutta Discovery, in the website, Dhammacakka website. The Buddha compares to being caught up with sensual pleasures, in other words, neglecting mental training. We're running after the body, what we see, hear, smell, taste, touch, enjoying life, if you like, with abandon, without really giving the mind the chance to train, to become better. So this is the trap, all right? This is Mara's trap. Mara wants us to enjoy life, basically, to remain in this world, to be worldly. So the Buddha says, if you get caught up with all this pleasure in this way, then you are like this deer which is trapped, and this deer is sitting there without a clue, as we say in Singapore, sitting on this pile of traps. And then a hunter comes along and he catches the deer and does what he likes with the deer. So if you are caught up with sensual pleasures, Mara will do what he likes with you. A good example would be, you take the case of this COVID, sometimes people will say, I'm not worried about it, it's just a common cold, and I want to enjoy life, nothing will stop me. Oh, there you are. Mara is very happy, he's giving a sly smile, I say, go ahead, So sometimes we need to stand back and say, nope, this is a trap, let me not go near. Okay, it's not that. For example, I mean, it's okay to eat something nice, you know. Let's say you like roti prata, or you like nasi lemak, and you eat, but if you eat too much of it, you do not know when to stop. You're going to suffer, and then you're going to get sick, you get overweight, and so on. So here, the precepts, one way of looking at the precepts is knowing when to stop. You should know when to stop. That's the meaning here, all right? Middle way, okay? Not overdoing it. So this trap is when you're overdoing it. You're caught up with it until you do not know how to let go of it. And Mara wants us to do that. So Mara is all the time trying to distract us. For example, you've been coming for this suttas. You know, we have sutta every fortnight, you know. But next week we have holiday. There'll be no discussion, all right? So someone will say, oh, you know, you've been going for suttas all the time. Why don't you come and play mahjong with me just for this week, you know? That's Mara's voice, okay? Saying, because the sutta only comes once in 2 weeks, you know? So if you miss it, yeah, of course you can listen to the recording, but it's nothing like a live talk, and then you can ask questions and you feel the sense of other Buddhists together in this very rare occasion. Okay, so that's one way of looking at pile of snares. Don't get trapped in worldliness. Okay?
Thank you, Acharya. We take a question from Brother Tan Kok On. He asked if you could explain
Oh, sorry, I missed the last part.
Can you explain further on the craving for non-existence?
Oh, okay, yes. Craving for existence is we want to be this, we want to be that. That's one example, right? On a higher level, we want to be reborn in heavens and so on, eternal life in heaven. Then we may, one day we realize something, maybe we study philosophy or been listening to some teachers, they say, oh, there's no such thing as heaven, there's no other life, this is our only life. So that is one meaning, that we have this idea, this is our only life. So can you imagine, if you believe this is our only life, then you can do what you like, you know, and you can get away with it. So, for example, in Singapore, which is a rich country, we have this problem with, some lawyers have this problem, you know, that they keep millions of dollars with them, and so one of them think, oh, why should I work so hard? Let me run away to Thailand or some distant country and have all these millions with me, and I can live a good life. I don't think you can live a good life with that kind of money, you see. So we want to end this responsibility, basically. We think that by ending life, because this is our only lives, and everything dies with death, right? But the Buddha said there is life after death, there is rebirth. Even just the belief of it is still good, because if you have this belief, you say, oh, I better not do something bad here, because it will come back to me. I may not be caught in this life, but I'll be caught in the next life. So the Buddha says, why take that chance? If you even as much as say, okay, let me do good, why I should do good? Because whether there is next life or not, right now I'm safe. That's why I should do good, right? But if I do bad, the chances are I'll be caught in this life. If not next life, I will still be caught anyway, because the habit comes back. So this is the Buddha's answer to Pascal's wager, if you like, in a more positive way. No? So I don't know whether I'm clear on that. If not clear, please ask again. No?
Okay, thank you, Acharya. We have a question from Brother Haing. Brother Haing, would you like to ask the question yourself?
Okay. Evening, sir.
Evening.
I just want to know.
Okay. Yes. Go ahead.
I just want to know, sir. Since there's no soul, a concept in Buddhism, is it our mind consciousness or our karmic energy that has been accumulated for many lives that is being reborn and again and again. My second question is, apart from meditation, awareness of the mind, chanting a mantra, are there other methods we can use to tame this monkey mind that keeps wandering? Thank you, sir.
All right. Now, talking about self, soul, the essence, the Buddha says there's no soul for the simple reason there is none. In other words, all that people do, they talk about it, more like wishful thinking, but it doesn't exist. And an abiding soul cannot exist because everything changes. Whatever exists must exist in change. And everything changes. Even consciousness changes. So what is reborn is consciousness, yes. But here again, we have to be careful when we say the word consciousness. We must be careful not to replace this word to mean soul. Because when we say consciousness, there are many people in Thailand, for example, they will say vinyan, and becomes like a soul. In fact, when you don't think about it, it ends up like the idea that something permanent. And this monk called Sati in the Pavattana Sutta also made this error. He says, it's the same consciousness that is reborn in the next life. Consciousness is a series of energy. Right now, when you're listening to me, your consciousness is moving, it's alive, changing all the time. Okay, it's like electricity flowing. That's what keeps us alive. So this is what goes on and on, life after life, cause effect. It's like you have a series of billiard balls, one knock another, and they keep on moving. Or there is this famous, this row of like 6 or 7 metal balls hanging out from this frame, and you carry one, you let go, and then one other ball on the other side bounces off. You take 2, and 2 other balls shoots off from the other side. I love this gadget because it shows karma. Light brings light. So you pull one metal ball and you let go, and only one will come up. 2 metal balls pull, 2 will come up, and so on. So it's like karma. But then you reflect, what is it that passes through this rows, this series of metal balls? See, invisible energy. So consciousness is something like that. When you say it is the mind, yes, you're right. That far we can say. More than that is quite tricky. It's not easy to explain, but I definitely would agree it is a more likely, a better explanation than believing in a kind of abiding soul, an eternal soul, which is more difficult to talk about, especially when it doesn't exist. Okay? Now your second part, how can we train our minds to be more calm? Meditation is the best way because we learn to let go of the senses. So in other words, here basically is understand the nature of how our senses work. I've written a paper called Nimitta Vyanjana. You can email me and you say, please send me the paper on how to avoid distractions of the senses. You can mention your name and mention this. I will send this paper to you on nimitta. You remember the word nimitta. No? It's basically training. All right. First, you see the sign, nimitta, a sign of something, like someone passing by or something passing by. You see this kind of something that attracts you. The advertisement people are very clever. They know we are attracted to nice sounds, loud sounds, bright colors. So the moment you enter a shopping mall, you hear music. They have done experiments. When you play nice music, you like music, you shop more, you buy more. So the moment you notice this sign, you say, that's it, I don't want this. I've seen this before, it doesn't help me. I'm not going to look for the details. Right? So you've got the sign and the details. Avoid these two. Right? The moment you see it, let it go. So basically, see less in this case, or even hear less. You find that certain things won't make you happy, so don't listen to that. Certain things you look at, you won't be happy. Don't look. Like you're in a train, you find some people are doing something you're not happy with. Well, don't look in the direction. Okay, just simply turn away. Think of something else. So, positive management of the mind. Make sure your senses are not fed the wrong kind of mental object. What you feed your senses will grow. Alright? So, sense management. Manage your sensing. What is it looking at? What are you feeding your senses? Is it good or not? Will it become a bad habit or not? Examine it. Alright? When you notice it is bad, then try to see the opposite. How can you get out of it? Alright? So in other words, you can think of something positive. For example, like what you heard here from the Sutta study, something that, you learn, maybe you say, oh, all this is impermanent, don't get caught with this, like that. So you remind yourself. I think the easiest way to remember is manage your sense impulses, how you sense things, how you make use of your 5 physical senses, plus the mind, the 6, how we think. When we think negative, we are going to be unhappy. Think happy, right? Then you feel you will age gracefully, you stay healthy, even when you are with pain or you're sick, you still manage well, right? So manage your senses well. That's one way of looking at it, right? Okay. Alright, we've come to the end of another session reflecting on the suttas. Remember, these moments like this are rare, especially for people from so many parts of the world to be from the different parts of the country to gather together with one aim in mind, to better ourselves, to follow the Buddha's path. Okay?
Yeah.
So reflect on all these wonderful deeds that we are doing, especially keeping the precepts. We're keeping the 5 precepts, and during these 2 hours, your precepts are all there intact. It's a very good way of reflecting on the Sila Anusati, right? That would help your meditation also. So the next time you have difficulty meditating, just remember the moment you spend here keeping the precepts. So with this wonderful peace of mind, this moment of goodness, let us tell ourselves to be well and happy in the Dhamma, to have the courage to aspire to stream winning in this life itself. And by all this good we have done, we dedicate to the health, happiness and wisdom of our loved ones, our friends, even our enemies, so that they will learn to be kind to us and we too be kind to them. Because we meet again in the future and we want to better our circumstances when we meet again. So this is our reflection for today, and with that reflection, may all beings be well and happy. May you be well and happy. And let us close with a triple salutation, closing salutation. Arahang Samma Sambuddho Bhagava Buddhang Bhagavantang Abhivademi. Bow. Swakato Bhagavata Dhammo Dhammang Namassami. Bow. Supatipanno Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Sanghang Namami. Bow. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.